Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Gregory Martin, aka the Super Producer. Here we review movies, TV series, discuss filmmaking tips, and entertainment news. If that's something that sounds interesting to you, please don't forget to smash that like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to ring that bell. It keeps you notified whenever I post a new video, and it also helps the channel grow. And with that being said, let's just jump right into today's video. And today, we are reviewing the Netflix movie, Rainey's Black Bottom. Now, before we dive into the review, I feel like I am obligated to say this, that I do have a bias against plays or theater productions that are turned into movies. I hate them. And that's because most of them play like plays instead of movies. They still have the blocking that's very similar to the play. They have the long monologues that you would find in a play. The scenes are long. And from my point of view, I always feel like the director and producers, whenever they do these stage adaptations to movies, that they don't really, they don't change much from the play to the movie. They're pretty much reenacting the play in another medium, which for me, for movies have always felt like a more narrative-driven medium versus plays, which really plays to the experience. It I think allows the audience to be more involved and really go into that hole, that ditch with you, with the actors as they're performing. I just never feel like that really translates well from plays to movies. And even sometimes in very rare occasions where movies are adapted to plays, I rarely feel that essence is captured vice versa. Especially for this film, it felt like this felt more like a vanity piece for the filmmakers involved. I know Denzel Washington is one of the directors who really pushed this movie to be made, and I know this movie, I believe, is right off of the heels of him doing the movie Fences last year, that I think if I recall correctly was nominated for a few awards. I feel like this is just in that same lane of him trying to create a play into a movie and duplicate that success. And I just feel like this type of stuff really does a disservice to him as a creator. I understand he has an affinity and love for August Wilson and all that kind of stuff, but I just feel like there's only so many times I can watch Fences or Raising the Sun without an updated take on it. And this film, though we have never seen it, and I don't think many people have watched the stage play or even were clamoring for a movie adaptation of the stage play. But this, to me, just totally missed the mark, and this was only a film made to fulfill the desires of the filmmakers who were involved. I don't think this was something that us as a consumer were clamoring for. But since it's out, I definitely have my opinions about it. The other thing that I took from this film, apart from me not really messing with it, was that I was confused on why this was called Rainey's Black Bottom. I assumed this was a biographical account of this woman's life. And then I saw that Viola Davis was playing Rainey, and I swear, in a 90-minute movie, she must have had 10, 15, 20 minutes maybe of screen time, which I totally don't understand. Her being the title character, her being an Oscar winner, that she would be used so sparingly or showcased so sparingly in this film. Again, I have not seen the play, so I don't know if this falls in line with how the play goes that August Wilson wrote, but I felt like this was a tremendous waste of talent on screen, of talent of Viola Davis. Her performance, her presence was so powerful in this film. You know, you really watched and really hung onto every word she said. Her performance, she really embodied this loquacious, very like a diva back in the 30s, the 20s or 30s. Like, she really embodied this, especially her being black and telling the white man what to do. I mean, she really nailed that. You know, she really nailed that. She really nailed the performances, the musical performances. But I just wish there was more of her to do in this film. Comparatively, Chadwick Boseman's character, who, when introduced, I'm kind of expecting him to be a secondary character. You know, I'm not expecting him to carry the entire movie. He was like, other than, I mean, there's not many scenes that he's not in. And granted, again, the performances, his and Viola Davis's are amazing. Like Chadwick's performance though was just very exceptional. I mean, I'm complaining about him having more screen time than Viola Davis, but I can't really complain because his performance was so great in this film. From the mannerisms that he had, from the physicality, the dancing, just the whole persona of this guy, this young buck who wants to get out of the shadow of Ma Rainey was very believable, And for me, the best part of this film was his monologue about God. Again, I don't know. I have never seen the stage play, so I don't know if that's verbatim from the play, but you could not have performed those words better than he did. Like, his performance of those scenes, of that monologue was just captivating. You just could not take your eyes off of him as he poured his heart and explained why he didn't believe in God. And he made a very compelling point. If you believed in God and he was the center of your universe, you would, I don't know if you might act like the other character did, you want to fight the guy, or you might take the other approach, like damn, like you've really, experienced some trauma in your life. I feel like Chadwick Boseman will definitely get some Oscar love when the Oscars roll around next year. I think he may even win the award posthumously. I'm not sure if he'll be nominated for Best Supporting or Best Lead. I'm not really sure how that will work out because, this was just a weird movie for me to digest in those terms because, yes, like I said, Ma Rainey is the title character, but I didn't feel like she was the star of this movie. Viola Davis's character definitely had a great, she definitely had a great performance as well. I don't know if it's going to hold up for an Oscar win. She might get a nomination, but we'll see. This, they drop these films around this time so that they are fresh in the Oscar voters' mind, and so who knows, this may be nominated for Best Picture, even though I don't think it should be nominated for Best Picture. But I definitely think there's some individual awards that should be going out to these actors, or at least nominations for these actors. And though those performances were really good, again, maybe it was me being naive or me not reading more into what this story was about, but I really wish this story told more about Ma Rainey's character, or excuse me, the person that Ma Rainey was. Yeah, I understand that the song was kind of the main subject of the movie. It's one thing if we know about the character, or we know of the character, or know of Ma Rainey's life, But you know, if for someone who's just plopped in and watches this movie, you know, yeah, you probably will be entertained, but you'll be left saying like, okay, this was a good story or interesting story, but like, who is this person? You know, what made her tick? I understand, you know, she had to, you know, go through these times where, you know, she had to be a very strong black woman. You know, some might say even difficult, but I would have loved to know more about her, you know, especially with her being so influential in the blues scene, to know who this person was. And especially this song, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, felt like a very hot button topic of its time. You know, it would be I mean, I don't want to go, this would be like an extreme, but it would be like the WAP of the 20s and 30s. You know, the WAP, the Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion song. But like, cause just listening to the lyrics from the movie, I was like, damn, like, you know, she was saying all this in the 20s and 30s, and some of the, you know, some of what she was saying, I was like, man, I mean, if they think that was bad then, you know, I can only imagine what they would have thought about, you know, some of the lyrics that would have probably been said, you know, in today's time. So I would love to learn more about her, and, you know, hopefully someone sees this movie and takes the time to either do like a documentary or give her the proper due and make a movie based on her life, and something that is compelling and not just a, you know, like, I feel like a misstep how they did the Madam C.J. Walker story. I would like them to see them do this story a little bit better if they do happen to do this story in the future. Well, that is my review, or my thoughts at least, of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you thought of my take on this film. If you like this video, please don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. And as always, guys, I will catch you on the next one.